कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदनंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जना वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन ब्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जयो राधा जयो राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol. Jai Jai Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. हरिनाम संकीर्तन की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye Nashta Prayesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopakumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 9, text number 40. Prajapatir dharmapatir ekada niyaman yaman Bhadram prajanaman vichan Atishthad swarthakam yaya Prajapatir dharmapatir ekada niyaman yaman Bhadram prajanaman vichan Atishthad swarthakam yaya Prajapatir dharmapatir Ekada niyaman yaman Bhadram prajanaman vichan Atishthad swarthakam yaya
Prajapatir dharmapatir Ekada niyaman yaman Bhadram prajanaman vichanam Vita sarvathakam
Ekada niyaman yaman Bhadram prajanaman vichan Atishthad swarthakam yaya. Matajis. Prajapatir dharmapatir Ekada niyaman yaman Bhadram prajanaman vichan Yaya. Prajapati, the forefather of all living entities. Dharmapati, the father of religious life. Ekada, once upon a time. Niyaman, rules and regulations. Yaman, principles of control. Bhadram, welfare. Prajanam, of the living beings. Anvichan, desiring. Atishthad, situated. Swartha, own interest. Kamyaya, so desiring. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Thus, once upon a time, the forefather of living entities and the father of religiousness, Lord Brahma, situated himself in acts of regulative principles, desiring self-interest for the welfare of all living beings. One cannot be situated in an exalted position without having undertaken a regulative life of rules and regulations. An unrestricted life of sense gratification is animal life, and Lord Brahma, in order to teach all concerned within the jurisdiction of his generations, taught the same principles of sense control for executing higher duties. He desired the welfare of all as servants of God, and anyone desiring the welfare of the members of his family and generations must conduct a moral religious life. The highest life of moral principles is to become a devotee of the Lord, because a pure devotee of the Lord has all the good qualities of the Lord. On the other hand, one who is not a devotee of the Lord, however qualified he may be in the mundane sense of the term, cannot be qualified with any good quality worthy of the name. The pure devotees of the Lord, like Brahma and persons in the chain of disciplic succession, do not do anything to instruct their subordinates without acting accordingly themselves. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Gurah Shri Utapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhobhyeva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thus once upon a time, the forefather of living entities and the father of religiousness, Lord Brahma, situated himself in acts of regulative principles, desiring self-interest for the welfare of all living entities. Hare Krishna. So, the Supreme Lord, Sri Krishna, being the Guru of Brahma, has, in a very covert manner, spoken the Srimad Bhagavatam in just 4 verses. And we have just read those. From those 4 verses, the speakers of Srimad Bhagavatam has expanded into thousands of verses. 18,000 verses, as we know, in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And millions and billions of verses. And one may wonder that we don't find all that information, all the leelas of the Supreme Lord and that in the 4 verses. And yet it is all there. And the Lord, being the master of all fine arts and the best of speakers, and one of the quality of a good speaker, that he can be eloquent and present the highest philosophies in the minimum amount of words, which the Lord has done. The master of eloquence. And we can see the parallels in this universe and study and realize the glory of God. Just recently I was going through a fact of nature, that the cells of our bodies, and in fact all bodies, even plants and all living organisms, made up of cells. And within each cell, they say that there is a DNA. You can't see the cell with the naked eye. You need a microscope. And yet, when you pull out the DNA, and if you stretch it, it will be about 6 feet long. And if you take all the DNAs from our bodies and you connect them, it will go up to the moon and back thousands of times. That is how glorious the creator of the universe, Brahma, is. Brahma has created such kind of miniaturization. We are looking today to develop memories which are small. We are looking to develop batteries which are small, yes? And memories, I remember in those days, 1 GB was that big hard disk. And now it has become like microchips. They've gone nanometers. But the Lord has gone molecular, atomic. And scientists they say that scientists have been successful in coding the DNA and using it as memory and retrieving it with 100% accuracy. And they say that just 4 grams of DNA is enough to contain the information of the entire world, which amounts to about 5 to 10 zettabytes. One zettabyte is equivalent to 1 gigabyte followed by 12 zeros. Of course, one cannot cap knowledge, it's unlimited. However, they have made an estimate. So with 4 grams of DNA, you can have the entire information in this world contained in it. So also, we can see that the verses of Srimad Bhagavatam are unlimited. In as much as the Lord is unlimited, Hari Ananta, Hari Katha Ananta. And that explains why great scholars and great devotees, they approach gurus, even though they are great scholars themselves, they know Sanskrit, very learned. But despite that, they approach gurus and inquire from them the meanings of the mantras and the verses. I always wondered why, when we hear stories like Ramanuja Acharya, even in other sampradayas, approaching their gurus and saying that I want to understand what is the meaning of the Charam Shloka, Sarva Dharman Parityaja. And I wondered that how come these are sannyasis, great Vedic scholars, why do they need someone to explain to them such a basic verse which we, even a new devotee in ISKCON, has memorized and can read the translation. So there is very vast amount of depth in the, and therefore in the first canto, 18th chapter, 23rd verse, Acharyas are also saying that I can only try and explain the Srimad Bhagavatam according to my capacity. But the Bhagavatam is unlimited. Inasmuch as the birds fly in the sky according to their capacity, but no bird can scale the sky because the sky is unlimited. Aham hi prashtor yamano bhavadbir achaksh atma vagamotrayavan nabhav patantyatma samam patatrinas tatha samam vishnu gatim vipaschitaha. So, no one, not a human, not even a god, can completely do justice to even one verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, Brahma has performed great austerities. In order to receive this knowledge from his Guru, Sri Krishna. And we see that one of the greatest austerity which he has performed is to make the decision to serve the Lord by doing his will of creation. It is the Lord's desire that he creates, and he wants to serve. And he is creating the foundation for the works of all living beings in this world. Because he is the chief engineer, a designer, an architect for everyone. And despite having done so much, no one can do service greater than Brahma. Who can do it? No one can. And despite doing this phenomenal service, a very important message is that, and therefore we see that Brahma is taking what he has learned very seriously, because he doesn't want to be proud. Because he is not above Maya himself, even though he's so great, but he can be trapped. And we know in the previous kalpas, he was bewildered, he was infatuated by the beauty of his own daughter. And therefore, the Lord has instructed him that as long as you faithfully, devotedly follow my instructions, you will be protected from false pride that you are the doer. Just as in Ramayana, especially Tulsidas Ramayana, Tulsidas says that when Lakshman was forced to leave the Parana Kutir, leaving Mother Sita inside, as a protection he drew a line and told Mother Sita that this is your protection, please do not cross it. But Mother Sita was tricked by Ravan in order to step out of that, and she was kidnapped. So the instruction of the Guru is for our own protection. And therefore, Brahma is performing this vast amount of services and still remain detached. He's practicing detachment through devotional service and offering everything what he has done to the Lord. And setting the example for everyone else. Yes? As we can see that even the Lord is saying in the Bhagavad Gita, Utsideyur ime loka nakuryam karma chedaham sankarasya chakarta syam upahanyam imaf prajaha. That even I, O Arjun, am performing my duty. Had I not performed my duty, people will imitate me and will become the cause of unwanted progeny, and the world will be destroyed. So everyone has to set an example. So Arjun, you also set the example. Don't worry. The work of battle will not entangle you so long as you're doing it as a devotional offering to me, because it is my desire that this war should be fought. So many people think that spiritual life means to give up work and be detached, because work is the cause of bondage. Here, through the example of Brahma, we can understand that work is not the cause of bondage. It is actually the attachment to the fruits of work which can be the cause of a bondage. And loyalty to the instructions of the Guru, performing authorized service, not just service but authorized, that which has been delineated by the Lord to please Him, will ensure that we are always liberated and we receive the grace of the Lord. And the classic example of his detachment is that while he makes this enormous arrangement for all these living entities to be entangled in fruitive work, subsequently to gain transcendental knowledge, and then become liberated through the process of devotional service, and seeing all millions and billions of living beings become liberated in the span of his life of 311 trillion, 40 billion years. But he stays back. Whether the people in this world are liberated or not, but we can be rest assured that Brahma is not going anywhere for 311 trillion, 40 billion years. He has made a resolve to stay back, sending everyone back home, back to Godhead, while he stays back and renders that thankless service. And why is that? And therefore, in the 9th canto, 4th chapter, 67th verse, it is said, Mat sevaya pratitam te salokyadi chatushtayam nirchanti sevaya purnaha kutonya kala viplutam. Mat sevaya praditam te. That by my service, automatically a person attains the good fortune of being in the association of the Lord. Samipya. One can attain the same kind of opulence of the Lord, Sarishti. One can attain the same abode of the Lord, Salokya. And if that was not enough, one can attain the same beauty, the same form of the Lord, Sarupya. But still, my devotee does not desire these kind of liberations. Vaishnava liberations also a devotee does not desire, even though these are automatically awarded as a byproduct of seva. And here we can see the example of Brahma, that he is doing that service. Why? Because he is seeing the presence of the Lord here in this world. And that was the entire explanation given by the Lord when Brahma asked that how is it that you, being spiritual in nature, have assumed a material form of universal Vishwarupa? And the Lord explained, yes, I am at the same time having a spiritual form, I am having a material form too. Why should he not have? Only difference is when we assume a material form, we do it out of destiny, out of our karma, it is forced unto us. But when the Lord assumes a form, he can do it out of his own free will. He is not forced into it. The body has a soul, the universe is a body, universal body, and it has the Lord as a super soul. And anyone in the divine consciousness can perceive him at every point of time. And service, dedication to the instructions of the Guru and the Lord will ensure that we are able to be in his presence at all times. And that's why when Srila Prabhupada was sitting in a garden once with his disciples and a gust of wind blew and closed his eyes and he said that I feel the embrace of Krishna. A devotee can perceive the Lord at all times and places. All he's concerned about is service. Service is the greatest blessing in this world, greater than even being in the presence of the Lord. Serving in separation, as our acharyas say, greatest. And Brahma is now, having inherited that knowledge, is now ready to pass on to his disciples. He's got many children, Daksha, Narada, Sanat Kumar, and he gave the fruitive knowledge, fruitive part of the Veda to Daksha. He gave the transcendental knowledge part to the Kumaras, and he gave the bhakti aspect of the Upasana Kand to Narada, because he was a very dedicated, devoted son, and he proved his eligibility through humble service and love and affection. So here we read in the purport, it is explained that one cannot be situated in an exalted position without having undertaken a regulative life of rules and regulations. So Vedic times, everyone had to get this training from childhood. Brahmachari life. Brahmachari Gurukule Vasandanto Gurur Hitam Acharan Dasavan Nicho Guru Sudhrida Sauradaha. Brahmachari Gurukule, he has to live in the ashram of his Guru. Vasandanto. Gurur Hitam, and for the benefit of the Guru, not for himself. Acharan, Vasandanto, that means he is serving to please the senses of his Guru, not himself. That means he has to practice selflessness. He should be like a menial servant, like a slave. Vasandanto, Gurur Hitam, Acharan, practicing good behavior, good character, determination, dedication. Dasavan, Nicho, with great humility. Guru Sudhrid, with great determination. Sauradaha, but not like a slave, as mentioned, as a loving son. What is the difference between a slave and a devotee? One is doing out of force and another is doing out of love and affection. So the disciple is serving like a slave but out of affection. So when the Guru is pleased, that's what it is said that in the 11th canto, 12th chapter, 24th verse. Evam Guru Upasanaika Bhaktya Vidya Kutharena Shitena Dhiraha Vivrishcha Jivashayam Apramattaha Tyaja Astram. And it is said, when you attain it, Sampadya Chatmanam, when you attain the Supreme Lord, Sampadya Chatmanam Athatyajastram. You give up knowledge. So it is said that Evam Guru Upasana Yaika Bhaktya. single-pointed resolve to serve and worship the Guru, upasanaika bhaktya, vidya kutharena, using transcendental knowledge to cut his jivashayam, his attachments, his ambitions, material ambitions, which is binding him to this material world. Apramata, he becomes sane, becomes sober. Vivrishcha jivashayam, to cut down. And sampadya chatmanam, and after having attained the Atma, the Supreme Lord, athatya jastram, and then he has to give up that knowledge. He can't hold on to that knowledge. He has to give it up. Like for example, say there is a low-lying tree, say a coconut tree, and you want to drink that water. So you take a sickle, cut down that coconut, chop it up and prepare it and nicely, and open that and expose the malai, tender coconut and the water. And when you have prepared it, what will you do? You can't hold on to the sickle in your hand, the chopper, the knife, whatever, and then drink it with one. No, you're going to leave that because that sickle has served its purpose. You don't need it anymore. As long as you're going to hold that sickle in your hand, you're not going to be able to lift and enjoy that coconut. Yes. So now that coconut is ready, now you just drink it and enjoy it. So that vidya kutharena, that knowledge is compared to the sickle, which is meant to chop down material existence. But once you have attained the mercy of the Guru, then you stop. You don't need that knowledge anymore. You don't need that approach anymore. Now all you have to do is just surrender and just follow. Therefore it is said, Agya Gurunam Avichariniya. The order of the Guru is not up for debate. It has to be executed. You apply your intelligence, you don't question it, whether I should do or not. You apply your intelligence, how to do it. You can't just be blind followers. Like, we tell the story of that Guru and his disciple, and they're going on a horse. And the Guru asks his disciple, give me a glass of water. And the disciple says, Maharaj, there is no water because the water bottle fell off the horse. The Guru said, why didn't you pick it up? He says, Maharaj, you didn't order me. Are you foolish? Do you need to be told everything? Apply your intelligence. Pick up anything that falls down. And then after some time, when they went ahead, there was some odor coming. And the Guru said, what is that odor coming? The disciple said, Maharaj, I've collected all the horse dung and I'm carrying it with me. Why on earth are you doing that? He says, Maharaj, you said whatever falls down, pick it up, so I picked it up. Then he was frustrated, and then he made a list of all the things that he had as inventory and told him that any of this falls down, please pick it up. All right, Maharaj, whatever you order me. And subsequently the horse went ahead and something happened, the horse went mad or wild, and the Guru fell down from the horse. And the disciple took the list and he was seeing if the Guru's name is there on the list. It was not there, obviously, so he left the Guru behind and he went ahead. You know the story. So, when one disciple, lady disciple of Prabhupada, went to him and said that I care for Tulsi, I serve Tulsi, and I need to pluck the leaves. So what should I use? Should I use my fingers or should I use the scissors? And Prabhupada said, use your intelligence, use your brains. You don't need to ask all these petty things. So a devotee and a disciple must be wise enough to use his intelligence, how to execute the order of the spiritual master, and not to challenge and debate and to reject. And we can see that the disciples were tested severely before giving the knowledge. When the Guru is pleased by the disciple, then the Guru will impart. Like we see in the story of Ramanuja Acharya. Now we are reading about Brahma, who is the Sampradaya Acharya, is the Guru for all of us. We see in Ramanuja Sampradaya how Ramanuja Acharya himself was thoroughly tested before he was given the knowledge. He was a sannyasi residing in Sri Rangam, along with his disciples, his followers. And yet he was told and advised to go to Goshti Purna, who was living in Goshtipuri or Tirukoshtiyur, about maybe 100 kilometers from there. Go and seek the mantra from him. And Ramanuja Acharya, he walked all the way, and when he reached the outskirts, he offered obeisances up to the point he reached the ashram of his Guru, would-be Guru. Because that was a holy place. Goshtipur is a place where the gods assembled to discuss how to put an end to the tyrant Hiranyakashipu. Goshti, Ishta Goshti, as we say. Goshti means to come together. So the gods came together in that place. Goshtipur it's called as. So Goshti Purna was living there. It's also known as Tirukoshtiyur. So he went there out of respect he offered. That was the level of his devotion and respect. Just as Akrura, he was offering obeisances when he entered into Vrindavan. So offering obeisances, he went to the ashram, and what response did Goshti Purna give him? He didn't even look at him. Didn't even cast a glance at him. And just got up and went to do his services. He had to deliver a sermon to his disciples, and he gave. And Ramanuja Acharya went following him. Imagine, he's a sannyasi, holding the danda in his hand, followed and was standing there waiting for the Guru to at least look at him. Finally, when he saw that he was not getting any response, he went and approached him and said that, please Maharaj, I would want to receive that which you have with you, the wealth which cannot be compared even to the opulences of Indra, that which will deliver us God, Supreme Lord Narayana. I want the mantra, please initiate me in that. Goshti Purna, he laughed and he said, whatever you want, I don't have time right now. And he left. And then he was staying there for some time, and he realized that he's not getting any time from his Guru. Waited there for some time. He had a lot of responsibilities in Sri Rangam. So he goes back. After a few days, he again comes back. Goshti Purna looks at him and he says, you've again come? You're coming and going, coming and going. And he said, this mantra is not to be given to anyone, only to qualified people. One who fasts for a month will be given this mantra. So Ramanuja Acharya said, I am ready to fast, Guru Maharaj. He says, no, but still I don't have time. Not now, come. And Ramanuja Acharya went back, and there was a festival in Sri Rangam, which was attended by Goshti Purna. He went from Tirukoshtiyur to Goshti Purna, it is said. And at that time, the Lord Ranganath revealed through his priests and his devotees that Ramanuja Acharya is qualified enough. Please consider him for initiation. And the message was passed on to Goshti Purna. And Goshti Purna said, my Lord, you yourself has said in the Bhagavad Gita, Idam te na tapaskaya na abhaktaya kadachana, that do not give this knowledge to someone who is not an austere person. So I will take my time to decide if he is qualified. I will test him. So even when the Lord told him to give, he was not giving, he was hesitant. I will do my test, I'll make sure that the deserving person will get the mantra. And Ramanuja Acharya again came, back and forth, 17 times walking back and forth, the distance of 100 kilometers, walking back and forth. One day when one resident of Tirukoštayur happened to visit Srirangam, Ramanuja Acharya met him and started crying like a baby in front of all his disciples. A sannyasi crying like a baby, saying that my Maharaj is not acknowledging me. He's not initiating me in the mantra. And that devotee came to Goshtipurna and said, you should seriously consider him. He's a genuine candidate. You should initiate him. And subsequently, when Ramanuja Acharya came to Tirukoštayur, Goshtipurna said that stay here for some time, and I will see. So Ramanuja Acharya lived there for about 6 months, begging alms, going door to door, chanting the prayers of their sampradaya, of the acharyas, and meditating on how when a disciple goes to Vaikuntha by the grace of Guru, Goddess Lakshmi personally opens the door of Vaikuntha for that devotee. While he was contemplating like that, he happened to come across the door of Goshtipurna himself, and he knocked on the door, and his daughter opened the door. His daughter's name was Devaki. She opened the door. As soon as he saw her, he saw the glimpse of Lakshmi in her. And he collapsed there, he became unconscious in transcendental ecstasy, manifesting all spiritual symptoms. Goshtipurna looked at it, observed, but still he said, no, I'll still take my time. Even the daughter recommended, you need recommendation for initiation. But still he said, I will test. Finally he was ready to consider Ramanuja Acharya's request, and he said, all right, fast. Do Nirjal fast for a month. And Ramanuja Acharya began his fast, finally. 2 days, 3 days, a week. And after 15, 16 days, he was on the verge of death. No human being can fast for a month, 30 days without food and water. You can live without food, but you can't live without water. He was on his deathbed. Disciples went to Goshtipurna and said, please consider, he's on his deathbed, he will die. Goshtipurna said, never mind. If he dies, he will go up. My Guru will give him mantra, he'll get darshan of Narayan. If he lives, I will give him. Any which ways, he will be benefited. And I'm not forcing him to do this austerity. If he doesn't want the mantra, let him not do. He was tested. Then finally he relented. He says, all right, drink water. Let him drink Charnamrit and complete his fast. So Ramanuja Acharya took Charnamrit, completed his fast. Then Goshtipurna brought him and told him the glory of the mantra, how it was received by Narayan himself, through Lakshmi, through the Acharyas, finally coming to him. And he said, this should not be given to anyone who is not qualified. You should perform this fast, and then only you should be given. And then finally he gave it to him. But Ramanuja Acharya, he came along with his disciples, Kuresh and Dasharati. They also were given. They also was privy. They were privy to that knowledge by the grace of Ramanuja Acharya. Even though he had told that only you should do it, only you should get it, they also got it. And Ramanuja Acharya, as soon as he got that mantra, he started thinking that it is so difficult to get the mercy of the Lord, this mantra, which will give you Vaikuntha. In that case, no one in this world will ever get liberated. So he thought, never mind. So the first thing he did was, he went to the tower of the temple and called out to all the residents of Tirukoštayur and said, please come, I will give you the mantra by which you can go to Goloka, Vaikuntha. And he spelled out that mantra, and all were doing Nam Sankirtan with that mantra. All were glorifying Ramanuja Acharya, that it is so difficult to get this mantra, but he has given it out for free. Oh, how wonderful, how wonderful. And when Goshtipurna happened to come there and pass by, he saw that the names of that Gupta mantra was being chanted by all and glorifying Ramanuja Acharya. He became very offended, he became very angry. He called Ramanuja Acharya and told him that I warned you, I told you the glories and whom it should be given. Do you know the consequences? You will have to go to hell for it. Ramanuja Acharya said humbly, with great humility, he says, Maharaj, if I have to go to hell, and if all these people can go to Vaikuntha because of that, I am willing. With that utter humility and devotion, when he said that, that actually melted the heart of his Guru. And he said, truly, it has been predicted by our Acharyas that a great personality will appear in our Sampradaya who will take the holy names to every living being in this world. And I can see that it is you alone. You are the one. You are the chosen one. And therefore today I proclaim that our Sampradaya will be named after you. And it became Ramanuja Sampradaya. Just as Brahma, the Sampradaya is known by Brahma and Madhvacharya. So in that Sampradaya, Ramanuja Acharya, Ramanuja Sampradaya. And he says, but I am not satisfied in giving you knowledge. I will also explain to you the hidden meaning of the Charam Shlok of Bhagavad Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya. But this time I will give it only to you, not to your other disciples, not to Quraysh and not to Dasharathi. And then he explained to him. Subsequently, his disciples came to Ramanuja Acharya and says, please explain to me. Please, I also want to know what is that meaning. And they were great scholars. Dasharathi was a very great scholar, known in all the three worlds. Even before the age of social media, they were famous, yeah? Not through propaganda, but actual, by his glories he was, Dasharathi and Quraysh. So he told Quraysh that never mind, you do 1 year of tapasya and service, then you will get the benefit. So he said in the scriptures it is said that if you observe strict obedience to Guru, austere life, and serve the Guru for 1 month, it is equivalent to doing tapasya for a year. And he did that. Ramanuja Acharya gave him the hidden meaning of the verse Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Then it was Quraysh's turn to get that knowledge. I also want, Maharaj, please give me that knowledge. I'm sorry, it was Dasharathi's turn to receive that knowledge. And he said, you'll have to perform austerity. Go to my Guru, go to Goshtipurna, he will explain. And he goes to Goshtipurna, and Goshtipurna looks at him and says, if you want this knowledge, then you will have to become free from 3 faults. What is it, Maharaj? The fault of being born in a Brahmin family. Second fault, the fault of being knowledgeable. And thirdly, the fault of being proud. Okay, he didn't know now how to become free from those faults. So he went back to Ramanuja Acharya. So Ramanuja Acharya said, you just wait, I will arrange for it to you to become free from those faults. Eventually his other guru, Shiksha Guru, Mahapurna, came and his daughter wanted some assistance in the kitchen. So he sent Dasharathi, go and help her out. And he worked in the kitchen as a cook for many months. And they did not realize, because in those days, even though Dasharathi was famous, but people didn't know how he looked. It's not that they had Facebook and, where you could check out who this person is. They knew that the great scholar Dasharathi, but they didn't know how he looked. So they had him, this great scholar, in their kitchen cooking for him. Very humbly, that they never revealed. And finally, they realized, and they went to Ramanuja Acharya and told him that this man can do higher services. Why is he cooking for us? Anyone can do cooking. Bawarchi, halwai, anyone can do. Why to have such a great scholar do that work? Ramanuja Acharya was very pleased, called him and gave him that mantra, gave him that hidden meaning of the verse of Sarva Dharman Parityaja. So such is the tradition of receiving knowledge, the culture of Guru Shishya, and we can see that also in the episode of Brahma. As it is said, if you want to educate someone, tell a story. But the best way of educating someone is to set an example. And Brahma is practicing the path of bhakti which has been advised to him by the Supreme Lord, so that his disciples and his children will also follow on the same path. We are very fortunate that we have the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, mercy of the Lord Sri Krishna, who have so freely distributed the knowledge for one and all. Lord Narayan was very brief, 4 verses and that was it. But Lord Sri Krishna explained to Arjun in 700 verses. And at the end of the Gita, he told that if you are not understood, I'll repeat it again. How much patience the Lord has. That is the mercy that he shows to his devotees. And more merciful is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has said, Jare dekho tare kaho Krishna upadesh. And therefore we are fortunate, we are following in the footsteps of the followers of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Srila Prabhupada and his followers, his disciples. So let us take full advantage of this by chanting and spreading the glories of the holy names. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Srimad Bhagavat Mahapurana ki